From a real-world perspective, you do not need the latest and greatest to have a good performing phone, and it mainly comes down to the fundamentals of what people look for in a phone: stability, reliability, durability, and the camera. And all the other things are an added bonus. So you got the phone, and it's in front of you. What are your first impressions? Well, it's going to be how lighter this phone is compared to your last model, and how lackluster the unboxing experience was, as all you get is a cable, a SIM ejector, and the phone. You will also notice the frame, and how premium it looks, thanks to the titanium grade alloy, as well as the camera. But most importantly, the screen. You cannot see it in this video, and that's because I have fitted a screen protector to this device, for the reason that after 24 hours, I ended up scratching the screen while it was in my pocket. The screen is a 6.9-inch dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2K display, with a resolution of 1440p and a pixel density of 498 pixels per inch, meaning that if you held your phone 3 inches away from your nose, seeing the pixels should be impossible. You also get an 120Hz refresh rate, with that being adaptive, meaning that as soon as you place the phone down to rest, the refresh rate can go as low as 1 Hz to conserve battery. Peak brightness tops around about 2600 nits, making the screen very visible in direct sunlight, cloudy days, and bright scenarios, especially since this display has something that other phones like the iPhone 16 Pro Max does not, and that is the anti-reflective coating, making this display vibrant and clear in all bright and neutral conditions. But if you're not brave like me, you've probably already slapped on a screen protector by now, as not even 24 hours after owning the device, I somehow managed to scratch the screen badly. So a screen protector would definitely be recommended for those who want to keep their phone in an A-grade condition. Another thing you'll notice when you pick up this phone for the first time is how incredibly minimal the bezels are. It's not very obvious when you're just casually viewing the phone, but interestingly, when you actually hold the device in your hand by yourself, you'll actually notice the extra screen real estate, as the screen just feels brighter, more vivid, and bigger. So holding onto your new phone, you wonder about durability. Could I be brave and go without a case? No. Get a case, get a screen protector. You'll thank yourself later, as it's also inevitable that the pavement will win. So I would recommend you save yourself the headache, especially with the back glass being frosted, making this phone slippy to hold, unless your hands are consistently sweaty. The speakers hold some value here. They push air better than the older generations, offering improved bass and clearer highs when you're out and about, allowing you to hear this device clearly even while outdoors. This was something I noticed after I upgraded my phone from the Galaxy S22 Ultra. This phone is advertised to be water resistant, which is a nice add-on, but I would find it very perplexing if someone willingly dipped their phone in water to see if it was waterproof, as Samsung does not cover water damage under the warranty. Samsung decided to downgrade the S Pen with the Galaxy S25 Ultra. It feels cheap in the hand, and so light that you would forget you were even holding the thing, and you would also feel like you could just snap the thing in two if you apply too much pressure. And this means you will not be able to remotely take photos with the S Pen. You will not be able to use gestures. The button still works, however it functions normally. You have to hold it up to the display for it to work. Pressure-based thickness is still present with the device, and using the S Pen with the phone still feels smooth and responsive. And if you pair that with a vibrant screen and smooth software, you will be quite impressed. As opening apps is smooth, fingerprint unlock is fast and responsive. My old Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra would overheat constantly and throttle itself, often leading to worse performance, battery longevity, and frame rates. That was crazy. You was actually losing frame rates with that phone. So as you guys probably expect, no lag, super fast, super responsive, an amazing phone. And this is due to the Snapdragon chipset on this device, meaning that you can game at max settings and play console level games with decent performance. While this may be overkill for the time being, it's actually quite good, as this phone will last you years to come, since Samsung guarantees 7 years of total updates, meaning this phone should last you to 2032. So I'm gonna be an old man, and you'll be old too, and we both die together, so why don't we die while you subscribe to me? Battery is an amazing step up from my last phone, as I would always have to bring a power bank with me, worried that this phone would clonk out on me without any notice. Now I can be confident that my phone will last the entire day on a single charge. I even go as far to leave my house with only 30%, knowing that this phone will be able to last me my entire trip out before I hop on the charger. With screen on time, I get an average of 6 hours, sometimes up to 7 hours, and this all depends on what you do on your phone. So if you're a light user, then you can easily get a day and a half on a single charge. Also throwing in the phone's fast charging abilities, you have a steal here, as this phone can charge from 0 to 100 in less than an hour, or an hour and 10 minutes if the phone is a bit warm, making it very easy to top up this phone throughout the day, or when you're taking a shower, or when you're using the bathroom. But we all know that people don't charge their phone while using the bathroom, they're using it. Overall, at least for me, the battery life is definitely a highlight of this phone. And if you're getting this phone second hand, you need to be very careful, because there's something called cycles. And if this phone's gone through, let's say 1,000 cycles, you're not exactly going to get the best battery life out there. You're probably going to get less than a day. When it comes to the camera, for me, this was a massive upgrade. Here, you get log video recording, allowing you to shoot in RAW and grade the video in post. You also get 8K at 30 frames per second, as well as 200 megapixels in the main camera. The 10x periscope zoom has been replaced by a 5x periscope zoom, this being compensated by now being 50 megapixels. And this allows for lossless zoom, so in theory, you could zoom up to 10x with this phone and not lose any resolution. But overall, the camera experience is a 90% improvement over the last. You get much more detailed photos and a higher dynamic range, as this phone has a bigger sensor to let in more light, meaning night photos will now be able to be taken faster and be brighter. The shutter button to action ratio is faster, so there's far less lag when taking a photo, making you less likely to get a blurry photo. However, this pales in comparison to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which takes photos so much faster. What surprised me the most was stabilization. It is insane. When naturally wiggling this phone around, the camera stays locked on a position, even without action mode enabled, giving gimbal quality videos and smooth outcomes. Portrait photo is where this phone shines. Yes, shines. Delivering nice, natural photos, especially when taking shots from a distance. So much so that you'll definitely notice others asking you, what phone do you have, after seeing the professional looking headshot that you've just taken of them. Overall for me, the camera experience is amazing, and especially for someone who's never been in the updated flagship era, who's always lagged behind 3 or 2 generations, it's actually crazy to see how far phones are getting and how close they are getting to DSLR cameras. And I know this for experience because all of my videos filmed on this YouTube channel was filmed on a mobile phone, the S21 Ultra, the S22 Ultra, and now the S25 Ultra. I might move to the iPhone 16 because statistically they record so much better. But it's the concept. Phones are getting so close to DSLR cameras. Why go out and buy a main camera when you have the camera in your pocket? And the quality is insane, especially from Samsung's end. It looks almost movie quality if you position the phone right. So it begs the question, should you get this phone in 2025? Being totally honest, no. Why? If you have the S23 Ultra, then no. If you have the S24 Ultra, then no. The only justification of making such an upgrade is if you have such an old phone, like the S22 Ultra, like the S21 Ultra, or you're coming from an iPhone 6 or such an older generation phone. I think most of the time, even if you are on an older generation phone, you can still get yourself value by upgrading to the S24 or the S23 and then waiting 2 years and then upgrade to the S25 when the S27 is out, because you still get value, you still get quality, and you still get a crazy deal. So why not get a good phone for the cheaper price? However, if you're going for premium and you want the best of the best, the S25 Ultra is for you. But the deal breaker for me is the S Pen. The fact that the S Pen is not Bluetooth will turn most people off. It turns me off because it's how Samsung upsells you, because you have to get their ring, you have to get their watch to take the photo. So answer's no. You just get a better offer with the S24 Ultra, but this phone in itself is a great device. I mean, you can't argue with it. The quality is there. YouTube thinks you'll like this video. However, I think you'll like this video. This is the iPhone 7. Is it worth it in 2025? I'd love to see it. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Dama como cita. Dama como cita.